Humans are only nice in an attempt to avoid consequences, not because they're inherently good. This is a belief that I came to honestly when I was really young, just by observing the people around me. I've never been a believer in altruism, which is this idea that, people do good just for the sake of good. I think that humans are naturally selfish creatures, and because of this, there's always some sort of reason why they're doing something. And this basically led me to the belief that people are nice because they want or desire something out of the action of being nice. And it could even be something as small as just being perceived as good, being perceived as righteous or a caring individual, because that does give your body, endorphins, right? It does make you feel good. It gives you dopamine when you think you're like this good, kind person. And the point of me making this video is not to say like don't be a nice person. That is not the point of this video. But you need to recognize that there are motives behind everything. In human psychology, the fear of loss is 2 times greater than the desire to gain. What does this tell us? It tells us that humans are risk avoidant. In the truest form of ourselves, we are risk avoidant, right? We would rather not lose $100 than potentially earn 1,000. Because that's just how we're wired as humans. And because of this, we are so scared of consequences. And acting nice is one of the easiest ways to avoid negative consequences in life. Being nice isn't authenticity, it's negotiation. You're hoping that your manners will earn you desire. If I act in this way, then I'll win public favor. Then this person that I'm romantically interested in will give me respect, and as part of that respect they'll be attracted to me back, right? That's just why most people are nice. And I also think a lot of this is subconscious, right? Like even myself, like it's so natural for me to just use like polite phrases when I'm talking to somebody, or when I see someone. Oh my gosh, so nice to meet you, it's a pleasure to meet you, like stuff like that. It's like my brain's on autopilot and I do it and I'm not even recognizing it. And like I said, the point of this video is not for me to tell you to not be nice, but sometimes you have to recognize like the true motives behind why you're doing what you're doing. Machiavelli would tell us that niceness is strategic and not moral. Now, I'm not saying you should listen to Machiavelli. He's got a lot of things that I don't think are that good to listen to, but he does speak a lot of truth. Where it's like, it seems like there is a strategy behind why a lot of people are nice to you. They want something out of you, and they want something out of the situation. And so they're putting on this front, this mask, in an attempt to get from point A to point B. And point B is always some situation where they're better off, and oftentimes you're either neutral or worse off, right? And I think about what would happen if we were put into this world where all of a sudden the consequences disappeared. Like, let's just say for an hour, right? You could say or do whatever you want, and it would all be forgotten, and there would be no consequences, right? I wonder how other people would act. And I think that a lot of people would just like say a lot of disrespectful things. There would be very, very few people that were actually genuinely nice. And that's just because a lot of it just comes down to the social performance that it is. Right? And it's funny because I feel like a way of proving this is looking at different cultures. So different things are seen as nice in different cultures. And because of this, people who are perceived as nice are doing something on one side of the globe very different than the other side of the globe, which just tells us that at the end of the day, it was more so about how are you being perceived by your own society, right? Versus, is this actually inherently what I believe to be positive in upbringing, if you're following what I'm saying. The last thing I want to close this video off by saying is that I think a good rule of thumb to live by is to be kind, not necessarily nice. Well, what's the difference? I feel like being kind is more reactive, right? So when an opportunity presents itself, when something happens and you have the opportunity to be, a kind person, do the right thing, you should always do that. But being nice is oftentimes going out of your way to do something. And what's interesting about human psychology is that we are unattracted to people that act in this way, where they go out of their way to help you, because it just seems desperate. And we want what we can't have. We want things that are scarce. And it's like, and it's very similar to, you know, dating, right? Like when somebody acts desperate, the other person is just not interested, right? But the second they stop caring, that's all of a sudden when the flip switches, and all of a sudden now they want them, right? Law of attraction. And so you need to sort of apply this strategically in your personal life, because, and not even just, I'm not just talking romance, I'm saying in general, because people will start to take advantage of you when they realize that you're nice. And when you're kind, you can't really be taken advantage of because the opportunities presented themselves and then you went and did the thing. But kind people make the opportunities. That's the difference between the two situations. Just food for thought. Thank you guys for watching.